Hey there, welcome back. Now in this lecture, let us discuss about REST. So basically, REST is an architecture which follows some patterns for everything. So there is a proper architecture to design our API. So that means if we design API using this REST architecture, we are going to get REST API. It's simple, it's the easiest thing that I can understand. But then this REST architecture have some rule currently for endpoints, for methods, for header, for data, everything else. So if we are following this architecture to design our API, we are going to get REST API. That's the simple thing that you need to understand. Now let us talk about all the things that define this REST architecture. So the first thing you need to talk about is endpoint. And the second thing that we need to take care about is our methods. Then the third thing will be our headers. And then the fourth thing will be the data, the body. So if you remember, we already discussed about this endpoint, how these endpoints are structured, how they are followed. One quick additional change that you might see in different URL structure of website is if you are working with API specific URL, so there are chances you are working with Twitter API, you are working with Facebook API. Most of them have something like developer.twitter.com or api.facebook.com. So there are chances either you are going to work in this URL, in this structure, or we can follow a structure as your domain name /API/ then your endpoint. So currently this is our domain name. So instead of this, what we are going to have is a movie list. Here we are going to have movielist.com/API, then / movies or movies list, movies 127. So whatever our endpoint is, this is going to be the URL. So there are two ways that can be followed. Either we are going to follow api.movieslist.com or movieslist.com/API. So it depends on different type of website. The examples that we are going to take as CoinMarketCap, Twitter, Facebook or any other big service, they usually have different domain, or I can say it's different subdomain to handle their API. It is not going to affect much. This is something very basic which most of the students are not aware of. It's not required for you to understand this right now, but you should be aware of this. The second thing is going to be the methods. So whenever we interact with our API, we send some request, we get some response. Now these requests are of different type. Maybe get, maybe create, maybe update, and keep on following. So we call them CRUD. So if I talk about them individually, we call them CRUD. Create, retrieve, update and delete. Create is known as for post, read is known for get, update is known for put, and delete is known for delete. Post means to create a new element. If I talk about movies, we are working with movie database, we are creating a something IMDb clone. So if I add a new movie, it is going to be post. That means adding a new movie. If I am getting all the list of movies, that is going to be this get method. That means I am either getting the individual movie or the list of movie. That means I am just getting the information. So it's either individual movie or the complete list. If I am trying to update any movie, maybe this is the movie number 127. If I am trying to update this movie 127, then this is a put request. And if I am trying to delete this movie which is 127, then this is a delete request. We will be talking about this a lot throughout the course, as well as about the endpoints also, because we are going to utilize them with each and every lecture. Now let me discuss something really important about these two URL patterns, which is pretty common. And since we are working with REST API and now you understand about these CRUD operation, it is good time for you to remember this. So we are going to mainly work with these two type of URL. So if you are working on Amazon, there are two type of links. Either you are going to get all the list of item or you are going to get individual item. Here we are working with IMDb clone. That means either we are going to get the complete list, that is complete list of movie, or we are going to get individual element. So we are going to mainly work with these two type of URLs. In future, any type of project you take, you have these two type of URL. Let's talk about Facebook. Either you are going to get complete list of different status, or you are going to work with individual status. Maybe Instagram, maybe Twitter. Either you are going to get complete list of tweets or individual tweet. So that's how most of the website work. Now there are other URLs also, that login, account, logout, profile page. There are different other URLs, but these two are most common. Now this is going to give us the list, the complete list of all the movies, or if we have any restriction, and this is going to give us the individual information, that is the individual element. So when we are working with this type of link, which is movies, which is going to give us complete list, we are going to send a GET request. Now this GET request will help us to get complete list of movies. And here we can also send a POST request, so we can add a new element in this list. So these two type of method we can add. Here we cannot perform put. That means we cannot perform update, because update can be performed only on specific item. We cannot perform update on a complete list. And similarly delete. We are not going to delete complete list. We can delete individual item. So remember, with this type of URL, we can add get or post, which is to get complete list or to add a new element or new item in this list. Now here with the second type, with this individual element, we can get the information of this specific movie, movie name or anything else. Then we can perform put. That means we are going to update this specific movie. Maybe we want to update the movie storyline or cast, or maybe the name of the movie. So this is going to help us to update. Then we are going to have third method, which is to delete. So that means we can delete this movie. So these three methods can be performed here. But we can add delete method here also. That means we are going to delete all the elements, all complete list. No one wants to do that. So you need to remember this. When we are working with complete list, either we can add one individual element or we can get complete list. Here we can get information of this individual element. We can update this element or we can delete this element. This is something really basic at this point of time. We will discuss about this a lot more. Now this is the ideal, or I can say this is the best use case of URL structure. But throughout the course we are not going to follow exactly the same. The thing is, we are going to perform same function with different methods. What I mean by this, if you remember, we are going to work with class-based view. That means class-based view have maybe 3 or 4 methods we are going to discuss. So what we are going to do is, first we are going to do something similar with the first method. Then we are going to work with something similar with second method. Then again something similar with third method, because we need to understand all 3 methods. So we are not going to work with the same URL. What I am going to do is, with the first method I am going to work with this URL. Then maybe in the second method I will change the URL for the second method, or I will add a new URL for the second method. And for the third method I can add new URL. So you might see the difference with these 3 type of methods. But remember, this is the best case. This is the best structure according to REST framework. I will talk about this pattern again by the end of this course, so you will have more clarity. You don't have to worry much, just follow the course, you will understand everything. Now that's done with method. Then we have headers. So we have some status code, we have several codes that help us to interact with our browser also. And one of the common thing is our headers. So what usually happen is, if I send a request, maybe I send a GET request and I just return the data, everything is okay. Along with the data I am also going to send information 200 OK. That is my header code. So 200 OK for my GET request. Or maybe they send a create request. That means they send a movie data. So what I am going to say is 201 created. If they try to access ID number 500 for a movie and that movie is not available, I'm going to say 404 page not found. So these are some header codes that we carry, usually known as status code, and we have a proper lecture, so you will get more information about them. So this will be status code, and this is carried with every request. So if I send a request for delete, that means I am going to remove that item and then that item will not be able to access. If I am trying to update, then I am going to send a request, okay, everything is okay, 200, okay. So every time we send a response, we carry some information with headers. Now the next thing is data. So as I discussed, we follow JSON to send all type of data, either from client to server or server to client. We follow a format of JSON. Either you can use XML or any other. So maybe we are taking information from Android application. We ask them to fill a form. We are going to get that data in JSON. So they will fill a form on the front end side in the proper sequence of form structure, but front end will send us the data in the form of JSON. And then we process that data, and if we need to send a response, we will send them JSON, and then front end will try to show them properly. So the communication is going to be through this JSON itself. So this is the architecture we are following, and if we follow this architecture to create API, we are going to create RESTful API. Now we have individual lectures to understand each and everything. This was just a basic overview. So like this header have multiple types, like 200 plus means succeed, 300 plus means we need to redirect something, 400 plus means that there is some error from client side. So we need to talk about them a lot. We will discuss them in individual lectures. Then we have multiple JSON sections. Then yeah, definitely we are going to work with methods and then endpoints. So this was a basic idea how we are going to work with our project. And I know I am trying to draw everything, write everything just to make sure that you understand these points. Otherwise I can either utilize slides, photo, but this type of writing help you to remember everything. I hope this lecture was helpful. These were the 2 lectures that I want to discuss as a basic thing. Now you can jump onto all the lectures. We will first understand how to create API with the help of Django directly without using Django REST Framework. We will create API directly with Django. Then we will also talk about how to create basic API with Django REST Framework, and then talk about advanced stuff as we move forward. The first thing I definitely request you is please watch all the lectures on full screen, because we are working on so many things in future. Maybe with some documentation of Django REST Framework, then we jump onto the coding part, then I directly jump onto some board to explain some concept. So I strongly recommend and request to please watch content on full screen, otherwise it will be problem for you to sometime notice small things. So watch all the lectures on full screen. Also, time to time I will add resources in the form of source code, or maybe some images, or maybe some referral article. So make sure to check them. I will either add them in the resource part or I will add them in the lectures itself. So make sure you keep notice of them as you move forward. The next thing is, before jumping onto questions or before implementing anything, make sure to watch that complete lecture, complete section. Suppose I am talking about token authentication, so that particular topic is divided into 4 different lectures. Just make sure you watch all the 4 lectures first, then implement it. Then if you have any doubt, then jump onto Google or Stack Overflow. But make sure you watch all of them. There are chances several students just watch one lecture, then try to do that everything about that topic. Don't do that. If a topic is divided into 3-4 lectures, make sure you watch these 3-4 lectures and then practice it. This will help you to understand all the different things that we are going to do into these 3-4 lectures. Same follows with permission. We first talk about basic thing, then advanced stuff. So make sure you watch the section and then implement it. That's all. These are my requests and these are my advice. All the best for the complete course. This was the theory content. And now let us dive deep with practical stuff. Thank you for following, and I see you guys in the next one.